Spritzleman 945 here. Welcome back to another video. Now it's obviously the next morning. And I would have recorded my review of this last night. If we hadn't gotten from the theater at like 11 p.m. So I was really tired. Um, but this is my review of the Fantastic Four: The First Step, the newest Marvel movie, which, of course, as per is my usual trend, I saw about a week and a half after it actually came out. Um, which is, not a problem necessarily. It's just the trend in which I've been seeing Marvel movies nowadays. Although, I mean, that trend will only continue for a long time, considering Avengers Doomsday is not out for another year and a half. Which is kind of crazy. I didn't think it would be that far away. But anyway, that is not the point of today's business. The point of today's business is the movie The Fantastic Four, and obviously this word is going to be used so overused so freaking much when it comes to describing this movie due to the memes, but it genuinely was an absolutely fantastic movie. Um in my opinion, uh top 5 best Marvel films that we have ever gotten. In fact, I would say that it lands very solidly at the number fourth place spot. Um maybe some potential to kind of fluctuate between the 4 and 5 spot due to Captain America Civil War as well. Um Not cracking the top three because those are all among my favorite movies of all time, but um, Fantastic Four, I think I am comfortable saying that it is the fourth best Marvel movie because there were so many great elements about this film. Number one, I loved that I could go into this movie with only very perennial background knowledge on who the Fantastic Four were, such as I know the names of all the characters, I know all their powers, I was vaguely familiar with who Silver Surfer was and Galactus and all that, but the fact that I could go into this film with only that vague amount of knowledge, and I'm sure there were people that knew way less than me in that regard, and they were able to perfectly enjoy the film is great because a lot of Marvel films have had that issue in recent years where it has required if you haven't been keeping up with all of the TV shows and whatnot, then um, it can be hard to keep up with the movies, which was definitely a problem for some people. Not for me because I was um, I was watching every TV show for a long time, and then I got burned out on Marvel. But I will say that this movie has solidly restored my faith in Marvel fully, I think. Thunderbolts was really damn good, and this movie being so fucking incredible just really cemented that. I loved the family dynamic. The humor was so the humor felt so naturally witty and befitting of a family dynamic, and I just loved the way that all of the characters interacted. It felt so natural and just realistic of a family dynamic. I also really, really liked the 1960s type setting because I feel like there aren't many movies in general, much less Marvel movies, that have really kind of experimented with that kind of setting, and I think it's really interesting and unique, especially in terms of America during that time period. Whereas I feel during World War II, if you want to go older American, is a much more common setting, but the 1960s is not nearly as common. So that setting was really interesting, and I think that like the world building aspect in terms of like providing a lot of really unique uh like aspects that make Earth 868 or 828, I mean, sorry, um, a little bit different and just like subtle differences that you can really notice in the background, which are like there's a lot of really, really hidden details in the like production design, which I feel like in in the previous Marvel films of the last couple years, there would not have been that like subtlety in the details. I feel like there probably would have been a lot more that was screaming out to you if this was like the same Marvel of a few years ago. But I think they have changed things up, and I think that that is a nice reflection of that change. Um, onto Galactus. I thought Galactus's design was so fucking cool and supremely badass. And considering like Galactus is just a devourer of worlds, and uh he's not even close to the definition of any sort of complex villain, really. Um, I think they managed to make him very entertaining by making him extremely intimidating. And I also really, really liked the Silver Surfer's character arc. Again, another character that I really didn't know that much about, mostly beyond the name. And the fact that that they were silver and had surfboard and stuff. Um, I didn't even know that there was like the Herald the Galactus bit. I thought the Silver Surfer was a separate character, but I really, really liked the way that that character arc ended up developing. Um, and the action and all the CGI was fantastic. Um, if I could use the word again. But genuinely, like, way better than like in the Marvels, way better than in Brave New World, even. Maybe not Thunderbolt exactly, because that's how I compare at a certain point. But it's like I feel like it's of way better quality than of certain recent Marvel projects in the CGI and visual effects department. Um, and I thought that like I really liked the space bits because it kind of to me gave me the vibe of like kind of fitting bits of Interstellar into an Avengers type movie, which I really enjoyed. Um Also the music was just absolutely epic. Um Another personal detail that I really, really appreciated was seeing Paul Walter Hauser playing like the Mole Man or the Elder or whatever. Because a fun bit of trivia if you don't know this, if you're a Cobra Kai fan, uh Paul Walter Hauser, the same actor that played uh the Mole Man in this movie, was the same one that played Stingray in Cobra Kai, who was by far the funniest character in the whole show and a personal favorite side character of mine. So I was very happy to I guess see that connection even though they're both very minor characters because I thought that both characters are hilarious. And let me tell you, even during Thunderbolts, Thunderbolts doesn't even come close to the amount of amazing like tension filled moments and like the amount of moments where I felt like I was on the edge of my seat not knowing what was going to happen next. It's been quite a long time since I felt that a lot in a Marvel movie, and it was a very fun feeling to kind of be so filled with tension once again because the amount of times it happened in Fantastic Four has not it's like that might not have happened since like Spider-Man No Way Home, which was like uh 3.5 years ago. Uh, can I do math? Yeah, I think 3.5 years ago. Um, um, so yeah, I think I think that about I will say my favorite character of the four was Johnny Storm, and it's unbelievable to me that that's the same actor that was in that played Eddie in Stranger Things season four. Um, so Joseph Quinn, I believe is the actor's name. He had an absolutely fantastic performance and probably the funniest lines in the movie, in my opinion. Also, like the coolest powers because, you know, I obviously hadn't seen much of the Human Torch before this, but like, I feel like the Human Torch in this movie made the fire powers look like really fucking awesome. I also really liked I guess more back to the setting. I also really liked kind of like the mental comparison I could make in like the image of superheroes in on this earth versus like um the one that we typically know. And I think just like the difference in the image of superheroes is very interesting and how like the fact that like even if it even if it did happen, like it wasn't very long that like the population of the Earth was like against the Fantastic Four before, they kind of rejoined the same side through Sue's excellent speech and then they all started working together. I think just like the dichotomy between those things is really interesting to observe, and I really like that in terms of that another like world building detail. Um, but yeah, I think that's basically all my thoughts on the movie. Like I said, mm, like in my opinion, top five Marvel movies easily. I still would for now I'll say it's like fourth place, but like it might need to do a bit more thinking of like whether or not it's better than Captain America Civil War for like that top five spot for like the number 4 or 5 spot, I should say. But yeah, for now, I'll say it's the number 4 spot. One of the best Marvel movies of all time, in my opinion, and yeah, this movie was fucking fantastic. And I highly, highly encourage all to go watch it because it is playing the meme. It's a fantastic movie. And I guarantee if you're like me, and you've been kind of burnt out on Marvel the past like year and a half, I guarantee this movie will be the thing that can pull you back in. Um, but yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Fantastic Four, the first steps, and I will see you all later. Bye bye.